Imagine yourself drifting slowly through the quiet layers of the past. On a peaceful evening, let go of the noise in your mind and follow me to the gentle mornings of Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. Tonight, we'll all walk together through one ordinary day in one of the world's very first cities. What did a regular person do, think, and feel? In a time when writing had just been invented and empires were yet to rise. Picture it. You wake up in a clay brick home, somewhere between the Tigris and the Euphrates. There is nothing to solve, nowhere you have to be. You're just listening. And slowly, gently, your eyes may grow heavier. Morning. The sun rises slowly through the thick clouds over the Tigris. The city begins to stir. This is around the year 2000 BCE, nestled in what we now call Iraq. A calm space between sun and soil. Homes are made of mud brick. Small, simple, with thick walls. Windows are tiny. Just enough for a breeze. Inside, the air is cool and still. The walls smell like earth. Damp, quiet, grounding. A woman wakes up. We don't know her name, but her hands are rough, her shoulders strong. Her first task is to stir the embers in the hearth. Around it, stone bricks whitened with ash. She boils water. In a clay pot, she adds some barley, a few dates, a pinch of flour, maybe even dried herbs. Her husband still sleeps. Soon, he will walk to the temple. He works as a scribe, carving marks onto clay tablets with a reed stylus. His eyes are tired but focused. Every line he writes holds weight. Taxes, trade, grain, debt, all recorded by hand. Their child, around 8 years old, hasn't started school yet. But each morning, he follows the older boys carrying tablets through the dusty streets. He loves picking up broken pieces that fall. Some have numbers. Some have names. He doesn't understand them yet, but he watches them, wide-eyed, imagining. Quiet on the street isn't paved. Just dry, cracked earth. Dusty, but still soft from the night's coolness. A donkey walks slowly, carrying 2 jars. Inside might be olive oil. Or beer. Beer is more common than water. Water could make you sick. Beer is safer, and it brings warmth to the day. A baker kneads dough on a low stone surface. His hands are covered in flour. The whiteness stands out against his deep skin. A small child sits nearby, waiting patiently for the first hot loaf. Bread is plain, firm, and barely salty. But it fills the belly and begins the day. Stillness in the temple at the heart of the city stands the ziggurat, a great stepped temple. Not everyone is allowed inside. Only priests, scribes, and certain officials. A man straightens his linen robe, climbs the stone steps. He's barefoot, his feet dusty, but used to it. He carries tablets carefully in both hands, each one etched with care. Debts, harvests, marriages. These are the records of ordinary life. But they also uphold order. Inside, the air is cool. The walls echo soft sounds, footsteps, quiet, prayers. Stillness is sacred here. Midday rest. By noon, the sun becomes harsh. The thick walls of homes keep the heat outside. People pause their work for a few hours. They sit in shaded courtyards, under date palms. Some walk to the river and dip their feet in. The Tigris flows gently, not rushing, just drifting. Tiny stones shift under the water. The river is cool and slow, like the rhythm of Mesopotamian life, unhurried, quiet, almost musical in its predictability. Late afternoon, The slow return as the sun begins to lower. The city moves again. Women gather near the oven. Men finish their final tablet entries. Children wind down their games. One child carries a broken tablet. Maybe it once listed grain-owed in silver. But to him, it's just a flat stone. A treasure map. A piece of the moon. Families share clay pots of food. Olives, barley, dates, perhaps some dried fish. It's eaten slowly. Few words are spoken. The day has been long, and silence is part of their peace. Night, stars and sleep as the sky darkens, the city softens. By the river, frogs begin their quiet chorus. Even this sound feels like a lullaby. Inside the homes, shadows stretch. But the people do not fear the dark. Above them, the stars fill the sky. Believed to be the eyes of the gods, the woman lays out a mat, a thin sheet, a calm space. Her husband lies beside her. Their child sleeps nearby, already lost in dreams. And now, you too may follow that calmness. Let your thoughts settle. Let your body rest. Someone, thousands of years ago, was also falling asleep right now, just like you. Enheduanna, the first known author. Now, let's drift gently from the quiet courtyards of your to the life of a woman who walked among temples and stars, who spoke to gods with ink and rhythm. Her name was Enheduanna. You may have never heard it before, but she is the first person in history known by name to write, not just for the gods, but as herself. We are still in ancient Mesopotamia, around 2300 BC, long before the world had heard of Homer, Sappho, or Confucius. A woman was composing poetry in the sacred temple of the moon. Daughter of power, voice of the sacred Enheduanna, was the daughter of Sargon of Akkad, a king, a conqueror, a builder of the first known empire. But Enheduanna was not a soldier. She didn't lead armies. She led with words. Her father appointed her as high priestess of the moon god Nana in the city of Ur. That position gave her influence. But it was her voice, calm, deliberate, poetic, that shaped belief. She didn't just perform rituals. She wrote hymns, prayers, and reflections. Some as long as 200 lines in elegant Sumerian script carved into clay. And remarkably, she signed them. The first time a person wrote and claimed it. The temple and the tablet in the sacred temple. The air was cool. Walls of pale stone, decorated with reeds, beads, and oil lamps. Enheduanna would sit beside the shrine, not in golden robes, but in simple linen, a reed stylus in hand, and a soft clay tablet on her lap. The room would be quiet, but not silent. You could hear the soft flicker of flame, a breeze nudging the fabric of the curtains. Maybe a distant voice, chanting. She writes slowly, each mark pressed gently, each word shaped with care. Some of her works praised the goddess, Inanna, the fierce goddess of love, war, and fertility. Her hymns described the goddess rising from darkness, restoring balance to the world, revealing the complexity of womanhood, spirit, and power. A fall from grace, but Enheduanna's life was not without turmoil. During a rebellion, she was driven out of her temple. She wrote about it. Her language didn't scream. It whispered, "They made me walk out of the temple. I, Enheduanna, was cast out into the dark places." But even in exile, she composed. She remembered the stars, the rhythms, the sacred names. Eventually, she was restored to her position. Her words continued to echo. A legacy in clay. Enheduanna died long ago. We do not know where her bones rest, but her words pressed into clay, dried in the sun, survived floods, fire, conquest, and centuries of silence. Over 4,000 years later, Those tablets were found again, unbroken, unforgotten. She wrote, "I have built a house of words for you." And perhaps, in some way, she built a quiet house for us, too, in which we may sit, still, and listen. Gentle pause so now. Rest your mind for a while. Let the story of Enheduanna rest beside you, like a soft memory. From her quiet temple to your quiet room, a gentle line through time. And when you're ready, we'll move on to mysteries and layers buried in the soil.